All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Peace. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am strong. I am talented. I think that is speaking to the core of what God's put in each one of us, that He has equipped us, He's empowered us, we have what we need to fulfill our destiny, but I do think that we have to bring
themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. Is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me.
You have to read the book. You have to believe in Jesus to read this book.
No, anybody can read the book. Our message is about, even when Jesus was on the earth, He went to all kinds of people. So I've always tried to get outside of just the church walls.
Your book, I mean, your church is non-denominational, correct?
It's
Buckle up, this one's straight up wild. Here's a question that'll mess with your head. Do you really know who you're trusting? For real, what if some of the biggest religious stars, the ones preaching on your screen, trending on podcasts, and topping book charts, aren't even who they say they are? That's the jaw-dropping truth Katt Williams just threw out there, and he's not holding back. If you thought Hollywood was all smoke and mirrors, wait till you hear what Katt's spilling about mega churches. And guess what? He's dropping actual names, with Joel Osteen sitting right at the top of that list. Now, if you don't know Katt Williams, let's get you caught up. Katt ain't just a comedian, he's a straight-up truth teller with a mic. The man's been exposing the dark corners of Hollywood for years. Whether folks call him bold or bonkers, one thing's for sure. When Katt talks, people stop and listen. And just recently, he went off on Shannon Sharpe's show, spilling everything from his thoughts on God, to Kanye, to the creepy side of the entertainment world. But just when you thought Katt was done dropping bombs, he locked in on one of the biggest names in the church game. Joel Osteen.
God bless you. Welcome to Lakewood today. We are so blessed to have you here. How many of you are ready to worship the Lord this morning?
Now, don't get it twisted. Joel ain't your regular Sunday preacher. This man's a global brand. He's out here flooding the airwaves with feel-good messages, stacking bestsellers like it's nothing, and living a life so flashy, it looks straight out of a music video. We're talking private jets, mega mansions, and cars that most people couldn't afford in 3 lifetimes. But Katt's not fooled for a second. He flat out said Joel's not some holy messenger. He's a performer.
You know, I just felt like that, you know, it's not going to be
So the
right.
first sermon you did, you were trying to imitate your dad.
Yeah,
You
I
were
really
trying to
was.
invoke him.
The first few months, I felt pressured to be him, not in a bad sense, because I love my dad, but I just thought, you know what, I felt like I needed to be, because that's what everybody expected of me. Because I'm, hey, and, you know, we've been here all these years. But then one day, about 3 or 4 months in, I realized I'm not good at being my...
Straight up. And if anyone can spot someone putting on a show, it's Katt Williams. He's been in the spotlight long enough to know when someone's acting for the cameras instead of preaching from the heart. Katt's basically saying Joel's whole vibe is staged, and he's not afraid to say it loud. Let's rewind real quick and set the scene. Joel Osteen runs Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, a mega church so massive, it used to be an NBA arena.
It happened live on 100.3 The Bull. The radio show was simply asking people, have they ever found anything of value? But they never expected to hear from a man who says he discovered hundreds of envelopes full of checks and cash at Houston's Lakewood.
No joke. This place packs in around 17,000 people every week. It doesn't feel like a church. It feels like a sold-out concert, and that's just the beginning. Joel's sermons are all over TV, streaming on YouTube, and plastered across best-selling books like a full-on media empire. Yeah, Joel Osteen's a household name now. But here's the twist. All that fame and fortune, it's come with a lot of controversy. And Katt Williams just added a whole new level of heat to it. During his sit-down with Shannon Sharpe, Katt let loose again, saying that some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, and even religion are just actors playing a part.
For themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
He said these folks aren't real. They're just faces in a much bigger system that's all about control and manipulation. And you better believe Joel Osteen's name came up, front and center. Katt claimed Joel admitted to being an actor, not a true man of faith. Let that sink in. According to Katt, everything people love about Joel, the smiling sermons, the inspiring books, the polished image. It's all just a well-rehearsed performance. And why would someone go through all that? Katt's got a simple answer: money and power. That's the real script behind the scenes. But before we go deeper, let's break down why Joel Osteen gets folks so divided in the first place. Because the surface tells one story, but what's underneath? That's where things get wild. Joel Osteen's whole vibe is sunshine and good energy. His sermons, less fire and brimstone, more motivational pep talks.
We did that same thing when all that criticism hit. I knew we were doing the right thing.
He's the type to tell you, believe in yourself, stay positive, and trust that God's got big blessings coming your way. Sounds innocent enough, right? But not everybody's buying it. Osteen's been catching serious heat for pushing what people call the prosperity gospel. That's the belief that if your faith is strong enough and your prayers deep enough, God will bless you with straight up wealth and success.
A bit of time. It takes I've gotten more comfortable in the last 3 or 4 years. I finally, outlasted the critics. I finally, get a little confidence and you realize that, okay, you know what, this is my lane. I know it deep down in the core of my being. Boy, when you're looking over here and over there, that's energy that you need, and you're taking that energy, you're taking that focus away from what you need.
Basically, pray hard and the money will follow. Now that's a feel-good message for sure. Who wouldn't want to think they're just one prayer away from hitting the jackpot in life? But critics say it's a slick illusion. They argue it turns religion into a cash game, more about stacking money than actually spreading faith. And let's be real, Joel's own lifestyle raises a lot of eyebrows. The man lives in a mansion worth over $10 million. He rolls around in luxury rides and has a net worth deep in the tens of millions. He claims he doesn't take a paycheck from his church, but the cash rolling in from book deals and speaking gigs, that more than fills the bank. Katt Williams ain't the first one to give Joel Osteen's empire the side eye. Let's keep it real. The drama around Lakewood Church has been building for years. Remember Hurricane Harvey back in 2017? While Houston was drowning, people were looking for shelter. And guess what? Osteen's massive Lakewood Church didn't open its doors right away. His team claimed the building was flooded and couldn't be used, but then photos and videos started popping up online showing the place looked just fine. After the public dragged them hard, the church finally let people in. But by then, the damage was done. Folks started accusing Osteen of protecting his property and public image more than actually helping people who were literally in crisis.
There was a push to get that plumber some reward money after that incredible find, but Crime Stoppers says that the expiration for the tips had already passed, and that if you are to hand over a tip, it must lead to an arrest. And as of right now, Peter Kristen, no arrests, no.
Then came 2021, and things got even weirder. A plumber doing repair work inside the church made a wild discovery: envelopes full of cash and checks stashed inside a wall. And here's the kicker: it just so happened to match the same amount that had been reported stolen from the church years earlier. Now, is that just a wild coincidence? That's up to you. But one thing's for sure, it raised major questions about what's really going down behind those Lakewood walls. And here's where Katt Williams cranks the heat up even more. He's not just pointing out these headline-grabbing scandals, he's saying there's something way darker lurking underneath. According to Katt, this ain't just about bad decisions or PR slip-ups, it's about a whole hidden system at play. According to Katt, Joel Osteen isn't just some preacher who got rich off the prosperity gospel. He's part of a bigger machine that uses religion as a tool to control people. Yeah, let that sink in. Katt's basically saying faith is being flipped into a business, and not just by accident.
Over there because I don't play. I don't participate. Like, you can't buy me, not because I'm not for sale. You can't buy me because I'm not in the store. It's different.
Now look, Katt Williams knows what it's like to stir the pot. He's been called everything from a truth dropper to a conspiracy head. But whether you're riding with him or rolling your eyes, one thing's for sure: when Katt talks, people start thinking. This time, he's coming for some deep questions. What's real faith? Who's really preaching God's word? And are these mega preachers out here spreading truth or just pushing a flashy brand? And it's not just Joel Osteen under the spotlight. Katt's aiming at the whole megachurch scene: the private jets, the luxury suits, the million-dollar homes. He's asking, how can someone preach about helping the poor while flexing in cars that cost more than some folks' entire lives? How can these preachers talk about trusting God's plan while stacking multi-million-dollar empires built straight off the faith and wallets of their followers.
I don't want you to think I don't like people. I like people fine. I just don't like people that sell people but then can't tell them.
It's wild when you really think about it, but here's where Katt takes it to another level. He's not just calling Joel Osteen a hypocrite, he's calling him an actor. According to Katt, everything about Joel, the glowing smile, the smooth sermons, those catchy inspirational lines, is just part of a well-rehearsed act, a full-on performance made to look holy, but built to sell. And if that's true, it's not just Joel in trouble, it's everyone who's ever trusted him. Let's make it clear. These are Katt's words, not proven facts.
That's why I can say them so freely.
Katt, I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But even still, you can't help but stop and think. What if he's right? What if people have been placing their faith in someone who's just playing a role? And here's the real twist. If a figure as massive as Joel Osteen can be accused of faking it, then what about the rest of these flashy leaders out here? Who else is performing behind the pulpit? Let's get back into it, because this ride isn't slowing down anytime soon. If you thought Katt Williams' shots at Joel Osteen were wild before, just wait. This story gets even crazier the deeper you go. The more you dig into Osteen's world, the more cracks start showing in that picture-perfect image he's been polishing for years. And whether you're a die-hard fan of his feel-good sermons or you've been giving him the side-eye from day one thing's for sure. The controversies around him have been stacking up quicker than offerings on a Sunday morning. Now let's break down the real engine behind Joel's empire, the prosperity gospel. This whole setup is built on one core idea, that if you stay positive, keep your faith strong, and give generously, especially to the church, you'll be blessed with wealth, health, and success.
Fancy clothes. I mean, for a pastor, you are living a life of luxury. You've got great homes, you've got great planes, you drive in limos, and
I'm a very wealthy man.
You're a very wealthy man.
Yes.
Yeah. And some people would say that is it appreciated?
May I add something to that? My wealth doesn't come from offerings alone.
Sounds amazing, right? Who wouldn't want to believe a few prayers and a donation could unlock your dream life? But here's the catch. When you start peeling back the layers, that message stops sounding like faith and starts sounding like a business deal. And Katt Williams, he's not buying into any of it. He's calling out what a lot of folks have been whispering for years, that this whole setup isn't really about faith. It's about creating a cycle where the people keep giving and the pastor keeps living large. Now, Joel Osteen isn't the first preacher to ride the prosperity gospel wave. But let's be real, he's definitely one of the slickest at branding it. He's got the smile, the polished image, and a message that's easy to digest. And man, it's paid off big time. His books fly off shelves like hotcakes. His sermons rack up millions of views. And Lakewood Church is operating with a yearly budget that could rival full-on corporations. But what about the followers? The regular folks who are putting their faith and their money into this message? Sure, there are those feel-good stories where someone says they tithed their way into a new house or a big break. But for every one of those, there are so many others who gave all they had, hoping for a miracle that never showed up. And through it all, there's Joel smiling, telling people to keep believing, keep giving, and trust that blessings are on the way. But from Katt's view, this is where things get murky. This is where the line between true faith and straight-up exploitation starts to blur. And one of the clearest red flags? The Hurricane Harvey situation. Families were being pulled from floodwaters by boats, people were soaking wet, scared, and searching for shelter. And yet Lakewood Church, a giant air-conditioned building that could have saved thousands from the storm, kept its doors locked, closed tight, no entry. At first, Joel Osteen's team said the church was flooded and couldn't be used. But folks on social media weren't having it. Photos started popping up showing the building completely dry. No water, no damage, just sitting there untouched. And the internet lit up. The backlash came fast. People were furious. Only after the outrage reached a full-blown storm of its own did the church finally open up. And even then, it felt like damage control, not real compassion. Critics were quick to say what they'd been thinking all along, that Lakewood Church, and by extension Joel Osteen, cares more about image and property than living out the values they preach every week. But the drama didn't stop there. Fast forward to 2021, when things got even stranger. A plumber working at Lakewood fixing a loose toilet made a discovery no one saw coming. Behind the wall, envelopes stuffed with cash and checks.
There was a loose toilet in the wall, and we removed the tile. Well, they removed the tile. Went to go remove the toilet, and I moved some insulation away, and about 500 envelopes fell out of the wall.
And here's the wild part. This surprise stash just so happened to match the amount reported missing back in 2014, when hundreds of thousands mysteriously vanished from the church.
It's still unclear how much money the plumber discovered behind the walls at Lakewood Church, but HPD and the church tell us they will continue their...
Coincidence? Maybe. Was that money hidden on purpose? And if so, who did it? And why was it sitting behind a wall for years without anyone noticing? The whole thing felt like something ripped straight from a crime thriller. And for those already suspicious of Lakewood Church, this discovery just made everything seem way more shady. Now, defenders of Joel Osteen were quick to speak up. They love to remind people that Joel doesn't take a salary from Lakewood Church. And sure, that part's true. He said it himself. But let's not pretend the man's hurting for cash. His book sales, paid speaking gigs, and side ventures rake in millions. He's living in a $10 million mansion, cruising around in luxury cars, and wearing designer fits that cost more than most people's monthly rent. And yeah, he's not the only big-name preacher living large. But when your message is supposed to be about faith, humility, and helping others, it doesn't sit right. It sends the wrong message. Katt Williams didn't stop there. He went for the jugular. He straight up questioned whether Joel's entire image is just an act. According to Katt, the Joel Osteen we see on stage, the smooth-talking, always smiling preacher, isn't even real. He's just playing a part. A carefully crafted character designed to keep the donations rolling in and the Osteen brand growing strong. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture, because Joel Osteen isn't doing all this in a bubble. Across the U.S., megachurches have turned into straight-up empires. We're talking more than just Sunday service. These places run like full-on corporations. They've got slick marketing teams, branded merch, multi-million-dollar budgets, and crowds that rival major concerts. And while a lot of pastors claim their wealth is just God's blessing, critics say it looks way more like the result of their followers' generosity, or maybe even their blind trust. Katt Williams, he's not holding back. He sees these mega churches as part of a huge system that flips faith into profit. And when you start crunching the numbers, his point gets real hard to argue. Just look at guys like Kenneth Copeland, another big voice in the prosperity gospel world. This man once said he needed a private jet because commercial flights were full of demons. Yeah, seriously.
Getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities.
Or Creflo Dollar, who literally asked his congregation to help him buy a new luxury jet. Not food, not housing, a jet. Sounds outrageous, right? But these wild stories reveal a disturbing trend. These preachers are living like rock stars while preaching to people barely getting by. Now, Joel Osteen might not be as over the top as some of his peers, but come on. His wealth, his mansion, the jet-set lifestyle, it still doesn't sit right with a lot of people, especially when his whole brand is supposed to be about faith, kindness, and keeping it humble. But here's the thing. Joel Osteen's popularity isn't just about what he says. It's about how he says it. His sermons play out more like high-energy motivational speeches, packed with uplifting quotes and feel-good stories that sound straight out of a self-help seminar. He skips the heavy stuff. No deep dives into sin, no talk of damnation. Instead, it's all about hope, chasing your dreams, and trusting that blessings are right around the corner. And honestly, that formula works. In a world where folks are constantly beat down by stress and struggle, Osteen's message feels like a breath of fresh air. But here's the catch, that positivity comes at a cost. Critics argue that by dodging the hard conversations, Joel is offering a watered-down version of Christianity, one that comforts instead of challenges, one that boosts feelings instead of building true faith. It's faith made easy, but maybe too easy, and this is where Katt Williams goes in hard. His critique isn't just about Joel, it's about the whole system that lets this kind of messaging blow up. According to Katt, this isn't just one preacher doing his thing, it's a full-blown culture that values profit over truth, style over substance, and spectacle over sincerity. Whether you ride with Katt or not, you can't deny his take makes you stop and think. What if this whole setup, mega churches, TV sermons, and brand name pastors, is more showbiz than spirit? If Katt Williams is right, and Joel Osteen is more actor than actual pastor, what does that mean for the millions of people who see him as a spiritual guide? Have they been misled? And if so, does Joel owe it to them to finally come clean? These are the kinds of questions that turn this whole situation into something way bigger than just a celebrity feud. This is deep and messy. But let's keep it real. Joel Osteen isn't going anywhere. Love him or hate him, the man knows how to bounce back. Every time a scandal hits, he flashes that megawatt smile, leans into his message of positivity, and somehow comes out even stronger. He's like Teflon. Nothing sticks for long. And maybe that's why he triggers such strong reactions. To his fans, he's a shining light in a dark, broken world. A man preaching hope when everything feels hopeless. But to his critics, he's the face of everything wrong with modern-day religion, slick, safe, and too smooth to be real. So where does that leave the rest of us? On one side, you've got Katt Williams, a man who's made a name out of speaking raw truth and calling out anything fake. And on the other, you've got Joel, smiling, polished, and still standing strong in the spotlight. And on the flip side, you've got Joel Osteen, a preacher who turned faith into a global brand. This isn't just a battle between two big personalities. It's a full-on clash over trust, authenticity, and how we see the people in power who claim to guide us. So let's bring it home, because at the end of the day, this whole story leaves us with more questions than answers. Is Joel Osteen really who he says he is, or is he just playing a part to keep the spotlight and cash flowing? Are mega churches truly helping people find purpose, or are they just profiting off hope? And here's the real one. What does it say about us when we keep putting blind faith in people who may not deserve it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear everything. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next deep dive into the world of faith, fame, and all the chaos in between. Thanks for riding with us, and we'll catch you on the next one.